Welcome to Wild Honesty. Today I'm sitting down with three men who are exceptional in their four-wheel driving space and have collectively spent decades helping people get out into the world and experience more of what Australia has to offer, and have seen more of Australia than most. What struck me most in this conversation wasn't the vehicles, the destinations, or even the adventures themselves. What these three share is a genuine passion for helping people. They're educators at heart, whether they're teaching someone how to safely drive a four-wheel drive, sharing the history of a remote town, telling stories around a campfire, or encouraging someone to step outside their comfort zone. All three are deeply committed to helping people experience more of life. In this conversation, we talk about adventure, education, and the lessons learned from years on the road, and how three people can experience the exact same trip and walk away with completely different perspectives. We explore what keeps them curious, what continues to inspire them, and why helping people build confidence, capability, and connection remains at the center of everything they do. Please enjoy my conversation with Dave, Jamie, and Ricko. I've interviewed the three of you individually. Very different conversations, which has been nice and eye-opening. My hope in this chat is that we just have a conversation, but I've listened to little snippets of each of your trip that you did together, and I would like to talk about parts of that and just see where that kind of goes. But to start with, I want you to introduce yourselves. However, Ricko, you're going to introduce Dave, Dave's going to introduce Jamie, and Jamie's going to introduce Ricko. So Dave, can you please start?
I'm starting.
Yes. Dave.
And I'm introducing Jamie.
Yep.
Right. Hi, this is Jamie. Jamie Hazelden, the Australian bushman, whom I met, 12 years ago, I guess, at four-wheel drive shows before we were actually working together, sort of in the industry. He was in the TV side of the industry that I didn't watch. So when Jamie puts up flashbacks, I'm like, never seen that before. But anyway, I'm sure you had a lot of fun with those guys. But regardless, I did, when sort of hearing Jamie speak on stage, and then in the years we travelled together, I did, above all else, enjoyed the honesty with the way we were out there. Well, we're out in the bush, we're not pretending. This is, and when you were making a roast meal that you'd talk about for 3 days and then you'd finally go and cook, it was exceptional. So I appreciated the fact that, you had that, you gave yourself the Australian Bushman moniker, and then you kind of lived up to it, which was...
good start.
Which was good.
I feel good then.
Yeah, no, it was. And it was genuine, it was real, and it was even genuine and real when the cameras weren't rolling, okay? And I think that was probably the most significant thing. And then, of course, after all that show time, I started operating courses on your property, and I got to meet you with your family and all of that. It was just genuine. So, yeah. That's Jamie, the genuine dude.
I'm pretty sure that's the first thing you led with when we chatted. Genuine, Jamie.
Yeah, right.
And words live up to actions. So therefore, he has just said that.
There you go.
Perfect. Couldn't have planned that. Yeah. Couldn't have planned that better myself.
Did I do a good thing?
Well, I didn't expect it like that either. I don't know how I can do something like that, but anyway, I can put anything together.
Now's your chance.
Yeah.
Jamie, please introduce Ricko.
All right. Well, I'd like to introduce Rick O'Brien. That's the guy I met originally. Now, Rick, I'd known a little bit. I remember him calling me up one day from this magazine he had the privilege of doing himself. He wanted me to get on board with it, but I had no interest whatsoever. But then later on from that, he'd come to me and he mentioned about a TV show. And that's when I met Ricko. Now, Rick was really a pain in my ass for quite some time. Just saying.
Absolutely.
You say. And, we had a few frustrating parts along the way, but at the same time, we had a lot of fun. And then we travelled a lot, we done a lot of things together, and look, we had each other's back on a lot of four-wheel drive tracks, and we did do a lot of four-wheel driving together. And then this TV show evolved, and look, we've chatted, we've been amongst each other ever since, and we've had a ball.
We really have.
Yeah, we have.
For a moment there, your voice went very much like Grandpa sitting on the back deck.
Well, he's qualified.
reminiscing.
I am a grandpa.
I know, but it just really went there, and I just pictured all three of you in about another 20 years sitting there, lemon lime bitters, Prosecco, Red Bull, and just...
With a one-string guitar.
That's the goal. Or a ukulele.
Harmonica.
Oh, and we have a band. Okay, Ricko, over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct pleasure and honour to welcome Dingo Dave to the Wild Honesty podcast. Dave Darmody, gentleman of a human being. Absolute. He spoke about genuine. Dingo is the real deal. He is a thorough gentleman. I met Dingo some time ago. We were involved doing some content creation work for TJM, and he proved to be an absolute font of knowledge, very organised, but better than all of that, very honest and real, which is something in our industry, unfortunately, you don't come across too often. So as we got to know each other, we realised that, same as with Jamie, we share a lot of the same philosophies when it comes to the outdoors and off-road, and it just makes it really fun to travel with these blokes. So yeah, this is Dingo.
Thank you, sir. Cheers.
Well, that's definitely the common thread that I have said to all of you. The thing that I saw in all of you, the thing I admire, was the honesty in all of you, actions, meeting words, and just doing you. So even though you have that common thread, you all have a different way of delivering that. And obviously, when you have different personalities in a room or on a trip, things are going to happen, which is fine. But under that understanding that each of you have qualities and values that you truly believe in, which I think is really nice. So I kind of just want to talk about that because I know that there's lots of fun parts of this trip, and I definitely want to get into it. And I think just from the introduction, if you guys just keep talking, they will come out. But if there was something in, who wants to explain what that trip was firstly?
Which trip are we on?
We did many trips.
There were so many.
The trip, let's just go. All the trips that you guys have done together, what has been the fundamental thing that has kept you three then going back and doing trips together? Let's start there.
Sure. Who would like to start?
Because it can't be purely just business.
No, of course not.
I'll start because my first trips out with you guys, I was just the dude in the back cooking steaks. So, I guess my first adventures out with these guys, apart from the TJM one with the content creation side, the first trips out with the show, they engaged Australian Off-Road Academy to take care of catering and to do some behind the scenes and sort of running around and ducking into town to do bits and pieces. That then evolved into doing a piece for Isuzu each week. So there was just a limited capture. So I guess I was sort of, I guess I was kind of a, what's the word, dog's body, when you sort of just get stuff done. But it also meant that in many cases I was first to wherever we were going because they were still shooting and I'd sort of be getting set up, and then everyone would sort of come rolling into camp and
action stations.
Action stations. So hurry up and wait as it was, and sort of sometimes last at the end. I remember we were camped beside the Murray River. I don't know what trip that was. Might have been the Five Corners trip. Yeah. And we'd been sent out with that prototype camper van that just had 100 poles.
Yes.
And we didn't know which poles belonged to what. They didn't know which poles belonged to what.
Is that the red one?
And it leaked dust.
Yeah, it was
terrible.
It might have been, no, it was that white one that sort of looked like a boat underneath. It was, they didn't end up producing it, if I remember correctly. And we're just on the side of the river trying to put this camper together that didn't have the right poles. Okay, it just didn't. And at one point, I think it might have been you that's gone, this is how people get divorced. Like, this is where marriages end.
Yeah, my thought was Outback IKEA.
We made it work. Like, we budgeted it, so it looked right for the camera. But yeah, that was just one of those crazy days where everyone just went, I don't know how this works, and we just figured it out. So, well, it didn't. They just put the camera in a creative space. But yeah, that was sort of the beginning of what ended up being a mega trip. That was the Five Corners trip. That was huge, but loads and loads of fun. So why keep coming back? Because when on that particular day we had a problem, we just fixed it. Like, there was no one got to just sort of throw their hands up in the air or put the bag of poles on the ground and walk away. It just got fixed. Like, and the in front of the camera crew were just as much standing up on a ladder trying to fix up the things as anyone else was. So Yeah, so there was no, once you're out there, you're just out there, and you just had to make it work. So that was one example of that. And, you know, retightening the roof rack on your Land Rover every single day on that trip. And that was just, well, who's doing it today? I guess. So, so that's what I appreciated, and that's why I kept coming back, because there was no one thought that they were above anything. Everyone it just had to be done. So it just got done. So.
And how many trips had you two done together filming at that point?
By that point, by the time we'd done that Five Corners trip, I think we'd probably had 3 full seasons together under our belt, travelling every year.
So that's probably 30.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of trips, more than you could count.
So what are the key differences between Ricko and Jamie out there?
Prim
as
and
opposed to
proper.
here,
Prim and proper?
organised, I prefer.
Yeah?
Oh my God.
Then why does it work so well together?
I have a theory. I think that between the three of us specifically, our skill sets complement one another. The things that I'm good at, Jamie might not necessarily be good at, but the things that Jamie excels at is where I fall down. But when we're together, it just works. We fill in the gaps. We don't have to talk about it. We don't have to discuss it. We're on the same plane. We know what each other's thinking. And that's why I keep going back. They're just good dudes to travel with. You don't have to worry about it.
And and that is something that was really challenging in another show that I was doing, is we would get different people and they were a nightmare to travel with because they'd never done things before. And it actually happened in our show too, where we had sponsors along that wouldn't tell us that they didn't know how to drive. You know, and that used to, can I say things that piss me off, you know, like say things like that, you know.
No, it's frustrating. I totally understand. You know, particularly as a business owner and being out there not only in front of the camera but also being involved behind the camera, and then managing the expectations of the people that are paying the bills, as well as making sure that Jamie's happy, Dave's happy, the crew's happy, and that everyone's happy. It's very, very challenging. It's certainly not for everyone.
And you know, not everybody's, you know, what you do. You just, your expectations of somebody are far greater when they are very poor at what they do, sort of thing. And then you've got to work with that, you know. So it's hard.
When you get exposed to that, and then that particular person goes away and is not part of the dynamic anymore, you can go back to your routine. I know what Jamie's going to be doing. I know I don't have to worry about him getting stuck. I don't have to worry about anything. And it's just a far more relaxing, less fatiguing environment to be in.
I think you all have perfectionist tendencies, is what I would see.
Yeah.
Great quality to have, but also hardworking and not afraid to get in. So from everything you've said, I think that is a key piece, that even if there's quirks in personalities, because there's always going to be, when you have the underlying value of getting in, the common goal or the common view is the same, the rest doesn't fully matter, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you know, at the end of the day, we were creating something that had to be good and had to be presented in front of thousands of people.
Yeah.
So, therefore, you had to get to the end result the best way you could.
And as Jamie said in the intro, you know, we had rough patches as well where we didn't see eye to eye. It wasn't because I didn't like Jamie or Jamie didn't like me. Well, I can't speak for Jamie, I don't know if that's the case, but you know, it took a while to figure everyone out. It was an interesting dynamic there for a little while. And I certainly didn't help the situation because I was suffering from chronic depression, but I wasn't aware. I wasn't diagnosed. And I'm not using that as an excuse for my behaviour at the time. But it certainly made it challenging. And it would have made it 10 times more challenging for these guys. So I think for that first 3-4 seasons, I would have been an absolute pain to travel with.
No, just a pain in the arse.
Full stop. Whether we were travelling or not.
Did you let these two guys know that at the time?
No, well, I wasn't aware at the time myself.
Okay. But did you open up in any way of how you were feeling? Like even if you didn't have it as a label of sorts or a...
No.
Not to us.
No.
And I still wasn't aware that that's why I was behaving the way that I was behaving and feeling the way that I was feeling. I was behaving the way I was behaving because I was feeling the way I was feeling. And I was completely oblivious. But once we sort of worked through that part of it, I think we became pretty tight for a while there, and And we're still great mates today, don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound like we were friends in the past tense. We're probably better friends now than we've ever been.
Yep.
And I miss travelling with these guys, and I wish that I was travelling with them in the state of mind that I'm in now, as opposed to what I was then. And it'd be a very different experience for everybody. Very enjoyable.
I'm coming back to that because that was a question I was going to ask later, but that's fine.
Sorry, stole your thunder.
Not even slightly. But I'm wondering, because I'm going to ask each of you this. You sort of alluded to Jamie being like, there was loggerheads of certain different things. I don't know what that was, but you were in a state you were in. Hindsight, though, looking at that, what in that moment did Jamie teach you about you on that trip?
You know what, I was probably too overwhelmed with the pressure of expectation that I had created for myself, because I was not just representing myself, but all of the people that had paid to be a part of the show. I probably wasn't even aware.
Yep.
Probably wasn't even aware, just oblivious.
Okay.
And staff and the business and there was.
Yeah.
I look, when I first started working with the show, I suppose I had no idea how TV worked. I figured like network pays us to go and do these things.
Neither
And it was like, but then when the harsh reality of like every conversation with the sponsor or potential sponsor is that decides where you go next year.
Yep.
That
if you go next year.
Yeah, well that's true too. And we were sitting at Central Station one night, and it's like, oh, we need 3 more shows or 2 more episodes, or so literally I'm off on a tangent, but we're literally sitting around a campsite at Central Station in the dark because none of us brought lights, not one.
We're not talking about Central Train Station. There's a place on Fraser Island called
Fantastic.
Central Station.
All these equipped 4-wheel drives with everything. Not one of us brought a camping light. It was just oh god, sitting in the dark on our devices, planning a trip to Cape York to happen 3 weeks later, and 3 weeks later we're all in Cairns going on a trip to Cape York, and that was sort of as a response to I think it was a request from the network, wasn't it, to have 2 more episodes or something, and it's just like, oh, let's just do it. There wasn't even a question of can we. It was just a question of, well, where will we go?
No, there never has been.
No. Yeah. So that was kind of, and I had so many friends who were pissed off that I'm just like, hey, I'm going to Cape in 3 weeks, and they're like spending 6 months meticulously planning a Cape trip, and we just arrive in Cairns and go. It's just like,
the way to do it.
Off we went. It was that kind of thing. That was just, it wasn't an issue. Like there'd be this little drama, and then we just fixed it.
Yeah.
And someone's spotlights have fallen off. All right, well, we'll go back and find it, and bolt it back on if we can, and if we can't, or the car's just got one spotlight.
But it was more importantly, everybody was working on each other's strengths more than the weaknesses. So.
And what was the common vision? So for your trips and your stories, and what was the common thread that kept you guys aligned for those trips?
It's hard to speak for these guys, but for me it was inspiring others. And I think I can speak for those guys and say that probably was a lot to do with it as well. We all have a passion for education and for sharing what we've learned over the years from going out and physically doing it, making the mistakes and all the rest of it. When you get to one of those sort of places where, Cape York's a great example, it's such a special place, you want to shout it from the rooftops, you want to share it with the world, you want people to come and experience what you've experienced and feel what you've felt, smell what you smelled. So I think that was, for me, I would say that was the underlying thing that made us sure we're all pushing in the same direction.
Yeah.
When I found out what E3 meant, with the name of the production company, it's like, okay, I get it. But what was the order? It was educate, empower,
entertain
first.
Educate, empower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm just like, okay, E3 media company, okay, what is that? And then one day, Ricko's like, well, this is what it is. I'm like, oh, okay. Like that, and it explains so much of why we would do things.
Our processes.
Yeah. And even to the point of we would only ever go somewhere that the public could go. Okay.
Yeah.
And like
This
the
was
maps,
one of our first conversations at dinner. I remember being really inspired by that.
So the maps would be available. People could see where we went, and it was the sort of thing that they could then go and do themselves. And this, everyone can. Yeah, it just made it more meaningful. It made it more, and it also meant you kind of had to do a better job of explaining where you're going and what you're doing, and
Which lit up your educator bubble.
yeah, completely. So yeah, so when I found out what E3 Media meant, it's like, all right, it falls into place. Yeah.
Yep. That's why you're a perfect fit.
Yeah. I tried.
Perfect. Wow.
Really was. Really was.
So, would you guys do another trip together?
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even have to think about it. Wouldn't even matter where it was.
Would it just be for you guys?
That would be the way I'd like to do it.
Yeah, well, see, what I would guess these guys are very similar in a lot of different ways. Is once it's in your blood, it's in your blood, and it doesn't really matter what it is. You just love doing what you do. That's how it goes.
But you two have sort of gone down more of a media route than Dave, as such.
I
he's
wouldn't
had his,
go
you've
down a media route in a heartbeat. I wouldn't do it at all. But I got hit by so many people to share what I do, and so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. If it lasts, it lasts. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm just doing it. I love doing it. I've got a lot bigger and better plans, but they're not in play yet. So, yeah.
And that sentence, I think, just validates everything that Dingo said in his introduction about Jamie. He's a genuine dude. He's not doing it because the cameras are there. He's doing it because he loves it. And he always has. You know, what he's doing right now, we spoke about countless times around campfires over the years. That this was his vision. This is the program that he wanted to do. And he went and did it. I don't know, it's bloody awesome. Not many people do that.
Seems like all three of you have done that.
Maybe that's why we get along. I don't know.
Do you remember any more of those conversations around the campfire of like what you were hoping to achieve that you have now achieved, or?
I don't know that it's something I would have ever spoken about. I was probably a little bit in awe of Jamie's vision and what he was doing, and also very caught up in what we were doing there and then in the moment as a business owner or partner in the business, and just making sure that all the boxes were ticked. So I guess emotionally I was a little bit detached during a lot of it, which is why I would love to revisit it now. I think it'd be so much more fun.
Look, from an outsider looking in, like I said, with no real full knowledge, having you say what you've said about having that sort of depressed state and then seeing, I guess, Jamie be Jamie. You just said you were in awe of Jamie. So that would have been making your feel worse without even really fully understanding why in that moment. Because it's almost like I would love to be doing, even though you were already knowing that you were doing amazing things.
Yeah.
Right, like we've talked about it with your photography and things like that, like you do an amazing job, yet there's like, I just want to be better. And I think we all have those qualities in us, but if you don't surround yourself with a person to push that, I mean, each of you have said shit to me and I'm like, don't wear ripped jeans, you got to be able to...
I didn't say that.
No,
I'm
you
not
didn't.
judging
Me
like
neither.
No, I know you didn't.
Yeah.
No,
So it's back to Dave.
It's back to Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying to make everyone feel equal.
I learned it.
This is why nobody likes you.
I don't think I said don't wear it jeans. I just said at what point are you going to make enough money to buy real jeans?
And this is why we all just have to do the hard work, put in the hard yards, have the real conversations, and one day I'll look back at this moment just as I'm saying to you guys, and my jeans will no longer have holes in them. And I will have... Thank you! Anyway.
Are you comfortable?
Yeah, my
That's
knees have
all
got
that matters.
air. It's good. And tomorrow I'll be back in my
In your
overalls.
overalls and
Yeah,
everything will be right with the world.
that's right. And one day I'm going to get Dave into a pair of overalls.
Please don't.
And Dave's just sad because he's sitting here and I feel like I should have offered him a hat.
I have no credibility. I can't wear a hat.
You can't have credibility without a hat.
You've got to earn the hat.
Can I please have, it's going to be hard, but your fondest or happiest or craziest memory of one of your trips together? Doesn't matter what it was.
I'll let Jamie
And
go first,
why?
I think.
Well, mine would actually be all three of us crossing the Simpson Desert. I just remember we had a really good time. I think you touched on it, carrying the fuel bladder that time.
Yeah.
And I just remember the sunsets and the sunrises, and it was a time thing. It was timely on what we had to get done, but at the same time we had enough time to enjoy it at the same time. And then I do remember the one part I remember mostly was when I went for a poopsie at the back, and the dingoes surrounded me.
Yeah, and that happened too.
Yeah, I'll never forget that because that was, I could feel the movements around me. I could feel them.
It's an experience.
And then I put the lights on and they were just all the way around me. And it's an uncomfortable feeling when you've got to wipe your bum.
I bet you pooped a whole lot quicker.
I'm surprised you took time to wipe your bum, if I'm honest. I'm not sure.
No. I just carefully walked back, just making sure that nothing was
see
going to
that.
happen, and I just pre-warned everyone else what was happening.
Aren't you in touch with the animals? Maybe they were just going to offer you
That's all
a
they
message,
were.
yeah?
They didn't bother us at all.
Yeah.
They didn't bother us.
They just smelled something different and come in to
Exactly.
investigate.
They smelt the aroma and they thought, I'm going to check that out.
I caught the end of Dave's chat today about lamb handles, so maybe it was the lamb handles.
They were the best.
It would have been the nachos.
Well, that's actually my memory. The nachos El Weber. I used to cook up like
Big
big trays of like the entire Weber was the surface for the nachos.
Yeah.
And the day that it was Cape York, we'd crossed the Wenlock, and then we're looking at the exit, and we just knew we were going to spend hours getting the cars. It was just soft sand and steep. There was zero chance anyone was driving it. It was going to be winching every single car. So we've all, like the crew and everyone else, has just decided, you know what, it's lunch first before we do it. So I've cooked up. I've literally parked the D-Max in the water.
Yep.
So I'm actually standing up to my knees in the Wenlock, running water, making nachos on the car.
Yeah.
And then we all just sat down in the river with a plate of nachos because it was November, wasn't it? It was October, November.
Yeah.
38 degrees,
So
90%
properly
humidity.
hot.
Yeah.
And we all just collectively knew what the next couple of hours were going to be like. And it was just going to be crap and fun, but crap. Because every single car. And we just sat there and had nachos in the river and enjoyed it. And then I think there was a little bit left, and the two Canberra dudes have just like leapt up and tackled each other. Like they've run to the car, tackled each other so someone could get the leftovers. So that for me, just that collective, we know what's coming. But until then, we're just going to literally sit down in this river and eat. Like we're holding our nachos like this, eating in the river. Fantastic. So that for me that's the standout for me.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm going to say probably the last season I did with the Off-Road Adventure Show before I end up having a bit of a bust up with my business partner and walking away for the sake of my mental health. Just before that finished up, we did a trip up to Cape York again in shitbox cars. And that was an adventure, a proper adventure. And there were some nasty things that happened on that trip as well, as there was on most trips between me and my business partner. We were both under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, and it got pretty ugly for a while there. But I remember being up the Cape in these shit boxes and looking around, not necessarily talking about the crew, and just seeing everyone in their element. And I thought, how lucky are we? How good is this? And that's one of the memories that's just always stood out. There are not many. There's still a lot of bad stuff there that comes up from time to time, like that Five Corners trip where we visited every state corner in one trip. I have some pretty shocking memories of that as well, some pretty poor behaviour on my part. But I also remember the good stuff. And when I walk around and something jogs a memory of those trips, it's typically the good stuff. So that's good.
I was an Oompa Loompa on that trip.
Yes, you were.
I think you would too.
And you was. We were going down. We were coming back from Surveyor General's Corner.
Is this a weight thing or a tan thing?
It's a bit
Because
of
we
both.
got
It's a bit of both.
Okay.
We'll come back to Surveyor General's Corner, which is the border of WA, South Australia and the Northern Territory, and it's a bloody long way out there, and it's very dusty and very remote. Jamie insists to this day on driving Land Rovers, which I don't understand. He calls them quirks and charms, but they're just shitboxes that leak dust and water. And because Jamie's car, being a Land Rover, the aircon probably wasn't working properly.
No, it didn't work at all.
It was WA.
Jamie doesn't need those luxuries.
Central Australia, and he really doesn't, and I'm envious of that, because that's what a proper bushman does. You know, you just take the cards you dealt with and you don't bitch and whinge. I'd bitch and whinge like a bloody cow for days. But not Jamie, he just wound the window down, and was third or fourth in a convoy of 5 or 6 vehicles. And because you're in this red dust for 12 hours a day, he got out looking like an Oompa Loompa. He was orange from head to toe.
Please tell me there's pictures of this to add to the footage.
I've got no idea. I've got no idea.
The
Please
worst was a nighttime one. We've all pulled up on a corner. And
I remember that.
He's got down everyone's headlights. And it's like, oh my God.
Were you wearing glasses that you took off so that when the
I don't
light...
remember,
So
but I
funny.
do remember just being orange. Totally orange.
He just went there and went,
Yeah.
But I do remember.
disappeared in a cloud.
What was the other funny one was when I crossed the Simpson Desert with no clutch.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the interesting one.
See, I barely remember that because you didn't bitch and moan about it. You just got on with it.
No. Well, it was going to be I was going to cross it on a motorbike.
Yeah, I remember that
Yeah,
discussion.
going to buy a motorbike and cross it and that. And I in the end, I said it's too hard to do a clutch in this car. I said I'll just drive it, and I think quite a few of them said, "You sure?" I said, "Yeah, it'll be right. I'll drive it." So I drove the Simpson with no clutch.
I encouraged a risk assessment of the idea of buying a motorbike sight unseen and full recovery, full safety gear from some random on Facebook and then driving across the desert. I just thought maybe that's not a thing we rush into here.
Yeah, I was happy to go either way. But, you know, I just wanted to have a go at driving with no clutch.
What did you get out of that experience?
That, I knew it could be done.
Yeah.
To mine now.
Fair
Down
enough.
in Alice Springs.
You ever consider getting automatic?
Nah. Overrated. No. Well, what happened was I'm going.
Me and my
I
good
can't
car
get it in
knowledge.
gear. I can't get it in gear. Oh, I have to get off the road and get out. Anyway, I sat there and I mucked around. Got the clutch working. This is on a recent trip. And anyway, that's all good. And I said, when we get into where I can just get on, instead of laying in red dirt, a bit of bitumen or something, I'm going to have to bleed that clutch. Anyway, we pull up. I bleed the clutch. I go, no, I might as well do the brakes as well because I need more brakes.
You need to explain that to me. Remember, I'm sitting in a four-wheel drive expo and I don't understand that. So please, explain that to me.
So there's this important stuff, liquid that goes into a slave cylinder, to
Yep.
make that clutch go.
Trad hydraulic pressure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And anyway, when you've got nothing and your gear just won't go,
Yeah.
and then you've got to go get the revs right and then just slip it into there.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you have to do. So instead of making it so difficult on myself, because they wanted me to turn around and get another shop and things like that, I bled the clutch to get a clutch back so I could just push it in and change.
Yep.
But at the same time, my brakes were really spongy and I needed somebody else to drive it and I didn't want them to drive it like that. So I thought I'd better bleed the brakes, which is the same thing because it was spongy,
Spongy.
just didn't pull up quite how it should. Anyway, I fixed it. She was good.
I don't even know where to go from there.
There was a day we tagged him into the car. He got in and then we sealed around the doors with duct tape because there was so much dust.
I was going to say, was it for the red dirt or because he was annoying you or...
And he still got to get out of there.
Yes, but there was another time when I dropped into shotgun, into gunshot, and I was pinned.
I use that video in my courses.
Do you? I was pinned in the seatbelt, looking down. I
Yeah.
couldn't get out. The only way I could get out, like I had a sunroof, I could get out the sunroof, but the whole interior fell completely apart and went forward into the front windscreen. I'm pinned in there, and so to get out of that, I either had to cut the seatbelt or just sit there until somebody snatched me out.
But if you cut your seatbelt, would you have just fallen straight forward yourself? Would you be
Oh
on the
yeah,
gravel?
I
Does
would
that
have,
even
but I
fine?
would have been ready.
Yeah.
I would have been ready. So I didn't want to wreck the seatbelt.
Did anyone else want the honours of cutting the seatbelt?
No one can get into
Get
me.
in.
Oh, because it was...
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So again,
I have
the
got a
immortal
picture.
who
I have
hasn't
got
done
a
the
picture of
thing.
that. I just posted it recently, actually.
Oh, did you? Okay.
That was a long day.
It was,
Very-
yeah, no, we won't go into the other part of that day.
It was a long night.
It was a long day.
No, we can't.
That was
do
another
That's
time we
other
prepared a
thing.
meal in a creek.
We don't want to talk about other people.
No. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
Yep.
Okay, let's change the course a little. Dave, if you could take one skill that Ricko has and one skill that Jamie has on board in yourself, what would it be?
Oh, poor fella.
Well, from Jamie, I would take his enthusiasm. Just like we could be bogged and it's hot, and everyone else is like, "Okay, we're just going to do it," and he's like, "Fucking yeah, let's go!" Like
Yeah.
just
I think he's part Australian wildlife warrior. What's his name? Crikey! They got that. Yeah.
Definitely we know this is going to suck, but we're just going to do it, and we're going to do it enthusiastically, and for sure. And Ricko, just the history, the love of history, and the ability to tell that story of times gone by in a way that people, it doesn't just sound academic, okay, that it actually, you know, in a personal way, in a way that person, I think if you know, Leichhardt was able to hope that their story could be told in a certain way, it would be in the way that Ricko relates it to people. Okay. So rather than not an academic research paper, but more the trials and tribulations and what they did, and also more importantly, particularly with like the Burke and Will story and all the everything else that happened around that, like the amount of success that happened. Like Burke and Wills themselves, not super successful, but all the search parties that went looking for them, they opened up more of Australia than it had been opened up before. So Ricko's way to tell that history in a relatable way. So enthusiasm and historical relevance.
Okay. Who wants to go next? Jamie, what would you take from Dave and Ricko if you could take a part of them on?
From Dave and Ricko? Well, from Dave, look, honestly, it would have to be the knowledge of recovery. You know, like, I know how to recover, but he knows technically and understandingly more on recovery than I've ever looked into. So that would definitely be it. And then Rick would have to be, again, I put it back to the history, the speech, how he speaks, it's so well. You know, like, who else would go out in the middle of the bush and do a spelling test? Like, really? Who else would do that?
Don't judge me.
No judgment, but who would do that? You know, like, I couldn't think of anything worse. But hey, he could sit there and go, how to spell on a program or whatever it was he was doing. I just watched him doing it and I'm going, oh my God.
So we've got model trains, spelling. Not sure yet. We're going to find this out before. Feel free to enlighten me on the inner quirk of Jamie.
No, he's a bushman. In every sense.
It's boring.
Genuinely.
No. Give me something.
Okay, what would I take from Jamie? It is his bush skills. His bush skills, his love of the bush, his passion for the bush. But what he's learned, people spend a lifetime learning, and it's the stuff that I absolutely love as well. But I haven't been exposed to it in the same way that Jamie has. So, you know, that's what I would take from Jamie. And from Dave, it would be his patience. My goodness, this man has put up with a lot, a very lot. If I had half the patience that he had, I'm sure my business would be a lot better. A lot better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Interesting. Do you guys see the same better qualities, best qualities in yourselves? Would you, like, if you said to yourself, like, this is the thing I offer, would you have said what they've said about you, yourselves?
No.
I would say I'm patient.
Yeah, I agree. No, I agree.
Would that be the thing you would say if I said to you, Dave, what's a key quality you have? Would you say I'm patient? Would that be the first thing that comes up?
I don't know, it would be the first, but it would be...
Would be in the list?
Would be at least, yeah. Yeah. And in recent years, my ability to walk away. So that's been something I've worked on, and I do.
It gets easier the older you get.
Patience with boundaries.
Yeah, that's it. Like, well, you could say pick your fights.
Yeah.
And a lot of people aren't worth your time for a fight, so it's like, I'll move on.
In all the time I've known Dave, I've not found those boundaries. That's saying something.
Would you say the same thing that these guys said about you? You said no.
Not at all. Not at all. That was a bit of a shock, to be honest. I don't consider myself to be a great communicator at all. I can write. I consider myself to be an okay writer, not a great writer. So yeah, that sort of knocked me for six a bit, to be honest.
No, you're a great speaker.
I just hear the mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just what you pick on yourself.
I guess so. Yeah, it's interesting.
This is why you're struggling with your YouTube.
Yes, I'm a terrible self-promoter.
You do a lot of great things, you all do. Just need to see
Yeah,
it.
we all would in different ways. That's just how we are, and that's why you need the support of others to pick you up on your weaknesses. You know.
Yeah. Lastly, would you say enthusiasm for you? Or would you say love of land?
No, I'd say patience. I'm a very patient person.
Yes, you are.
And not a fighter either, which you said earlier.
That's not true. Jamie was a boxer.
Ah, it's different.
That's a fighter.
I told you, 2.0.
Yeah, but I, like I said, I'm a very controlled person. But it's there is another side.
You never put one on my chin. You must be patient.
And that's why I say I'm patient.
I'm sure he wanted to. Many times.
That's where he learnt the patience.
I got better.
You're welcome.
I
mate.
got better.
We all did.
Yeah.
If there's one place you could tell people to go and see, what would you tell them to go see?
I always say the desert. As I said in our talk yesterday, the closest thing I've ever had to a spiritual experience was the first time I went to the desert and actually experienced it. And ever since then, I've screamed it loudly from the rooftops. Get out there and experience it. You cannot get the gist of it in a magazine, a book, YouTube, show, TV. None of it does it justice.
Okay.
Desert. Number 2, Lawn Hill Gorge. Number 1, Simpson Desert.
Okay.
Desert.
You,
Oh, I thought you were sick, Kate.
okay, yeah, I was wondering that too.
No, mine's
Well, you've been there so many times.
a couple.
Okay.
There you go. That's interesting.
And how much, last question, how much does somebody need to have? What are the basic bits of equipment for them to do the desert? Because to me, when I look at it from someone who's not done much four-wheel driving, that seems like too much for me to bite off. But I don't know if that's the case.
No,
guess-
that is certainly not the case.
No, it's not the case. And I think there's also, you don't have to cross the desert to go to the desert. All right,
That's true too.
you can go to Birdsville for the races and have a 1 or 2 night trip out into the Simpson and still experience it.
I was going to say,
Okay?
will
It
I
doesn't-
still experience, like, will
Yeah.
it still give me that
Yeah,
experience?
it doesn't need to be, and I think this is where so much of our off-roading culture is almost toxic, this idea of conquering a thing. And it's like, I must cross the desert, I must get to the Cape. You can still experience the desert without having to feel like you have to be in the middle of it at some point. You know, you can be 15 sand dunes in,
Yep.
and it will feel like, and you will get
Absolutely.
everything that we're talking about.
Okay.
You know, you can go to Lake Air for lunch and drive 2 more sand dunes and set up for the night and have a deeply moving desert experience.
Yeah.
You don't have to conquer an environment to enjoy it.
Okay.
I remember I went out there in the desert in COVID, just couldn't go nowhere. And I just went up and down every track all the way to the corner, and I spent a week and a half doing that, and it was amazing because I found camps that haven't been found since the 60s.
So without leaving Queensland.
That's leaving Queensland.
Yeah.
I might have stepped in over the border a couple of times, not realising.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just went up and down the things I found. Unbelievable. I found a white fella's camp. I found a black fella's camp. You could just tell the difference. The mess on the white fella's camp to the mess on the amazing. I loved it.
Okay. It's good to know. Might have to put it on my list.
I think the only thing you really need to have is the right attitude and a sense of humour. Anything above that's a bonus.
I reckon I could do that. Do you find many people, like when you are travelling, so some of those spots that you talked about, even if we're not going across, is there plenty of people around doing it? Because to me, I feel like it's too remote, so I'm not going to see anyone, so I have to be okay to get myself out of a
I think
situation.
it'd be an uncommon day that you don't run into somebody.
Yeah, okay. So
It
again,
might not be 100
misconception on my
Well,
part.
when season's open for it.
Yeah. Which is?
When they decide to open it this year, it'd be
March
good.
Oh.
to November is usually.
Okay,
but
I
they've
didn't know
had
that was
some
a thing
floods.
either.
It's closed.
They
at the
close it
moment.
for summer to
Yeah.
protect people from themselves.
Okay, that makes sense.
So right now, when that first crossing happens,
Yeah.
now it's going to be overgrown over the tracks,
Yep.
and that is amazing to see.
Yeah.
And like I believe the Hay River track is gone
Yeah,
at the moment.
it's washed away.
That'd be crazy.
Completely gone. So
This might sound silly. How do you navigate that track back if it's overgrown? Like, what are the...
you've got your GPS in general that
Yeah.
you're following,
Yeah.
and unless
it-
you're a mapper, use a map. But,
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
you're pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, when we
Okay.
did the desert last year for a tag along tour, we had to get around Lake Popple in order to get from west to east. And Lake Popple was in flood, which doesn't happen very often, but when it's in flood, it's not just the water you can see that's the problem, it's the soak and the bog, sometimes 10 k's away, and you get no notice. So,
Is this the same thing you were kind of talking about on your Cape trip, like
Golf.
golf trip?
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's how you find your way around. So
Okay.
you just head off into the scrub, being very careful not to hit the mulga spikes and things like that, and all the hazards that are on the way. And you've got to forge your own path. You don't have a choice unless you just want to turn around and go back. But by then, we didn't have enough fuel to do that, so we had to keep going. And you just keep going until you get around and point the car at the track on the GPS. That's basically what we do.
Yeah.
And eventually you wind up back on that track.
Okay.
So when Lake Popple was in flood, was the old quarter post in water?
Yes.
Yeah, it would have been.
That would have been so cool to see.
Yeah, got some great photos.
Like
They got the corner post wrong at Popple's Corner.
Yeah.
And the old one's kind of out in this bit of lowland.
Yep.
So yeah, if that would have been in the water, that would have been, I don't know, just so cool. Anyway.
Like I know that stuff sounds just second nature to you. That okay, yep, you just do this and you just pull out the GPS and you do. Like my brain can go back 16 steps and still be like, yeah, cool, but where am I getting that from? Who's like all of that. So just taking for granted that you guys know so much about it.
And the
ones
you're going
that
to find out there are the ones you put up.
yeah.
Yeah.
We had a time in the Territory we were trying to find an old police station, and literally, like, we could see a dot on a map, but it didn't have any resolution. So they put up the drone, and like they flew the drone around, and it's like, we reckon that's it there. And then we figured out how to get to it. We actually broke into different groups, didn't we? And,
Yeah.
like someone tried from this end on the river, and we figured out which way to go. So we all came back together and got over the river that way. So
Maybe I need to come along, take my paraglider, then I can come off of a dune.
you can be the.
I can be. Yeah.
There's cheaper ways with the drone.
Cheaper as in more fun my part.
No,
You
I
can
know,
pick,
I know,
and
I
you
know.
can pick me up at the next one, and I can go again.
You can
I
just
have
go
to get
June to
bogged.
June.
Yeah, I'll go June to June.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having a chat with me.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
I really like the camaraderie that you three have, and I like the honesty that you have. So thank you, and I hope, because I can see something magic that you three could bring together as a group, taking a trip, even if it was just a trip for you three, having conversations and having jokes and sharing that. I think it's a whole nother piece that people could get a lot of value from.
I'll tell you what, we'll go do
So-
it in the desert, and you can come out, we'll do a podcast from there.
Sounds good to me. But I definitely think you could. I've had people say, oh, I could just sit and listen to them all day. And that's a great thing. And when I've met each of you, it's the same thing. There's a lot to offer, and it's easy to sit and just want to listen and know more. So thank you.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. It's not often I get the chance to sit down with those blokes.
No.
It's been a while, so
We
really enjoyed
we
that.
don't get together often.
No.
And in 20 years, you can sit on a back deck. Jamie can put on his voice, and you can come together. And
My voice? What's my voice?
your granddad voice.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
In my day.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
All right. Thank you, guys. I will pop each of your socials below
Wonderful.
in the podcast notes. Everyone will be able to find you. And thank you guys for listening. See you later.
Cheers.